Good morning, folks. Welcome to an ACC Daily Queensland Weather App. Today's date is the 1st of February 2023. My name's Chris Nitzo. This update brought to you by our major sponsor, townsvillesheds.com. Check them out if you're in the market for a shed-safe, accredited shed. All right, this morning we've got a trough system that's in operation across large areas of eastern Queensland. We're already seeing lots of light rain and cloud activity this morning. So once again, it takes the edge off the severity of thunderstorms to some extent, but it doesn't stop us from getting good rain from thunderstorms, just like yesterday. Thanks to the Bureau of Meteorology for the weather map here telling us how much rain has fallen in the 24 hours till 9 o'clock this morning. We've seen some good falls down around the Gold Coast hinterland. We've seen some great falls through parts of the inland Burnett, inland western Burnett, through the Central Highlands and Coalfields, parts of the Maranoa Warrego region, through the Central Coast or Capricornia coastal regions, through inland parts of the Central Coast with Sunday's Herbert Burdick, and look at those beautiful falls in my little neck of the woods here near Townsville, up around Ingham. Ingham did very well. Through the Tablelands, bit of a late start to their storm activity, but my goodness, they made up for it later in the afternoon, early evening out there, 50 to 100 mils falling there. Parts of the Gulf country have seen some fantastic falls, particularly overnight into this morning, and we've seen some good falls in Cape York Peninsula from slow-moving thunderstorm activity. Wow, there's a lot of storm activity, isn't there? And lots of fantastic rain has fallen. However, as always, patchy. Just remember, just because you didn't get the storm doesn't mean it didn't happen. Rightio, so what are the models telling us for today? Once again, widespread storm activity this morning across the Gulf country. We're going to see showers and thunderstorms, particularly through central eastern Queensland here, quite frequent across parts of that section of the coast, adjacent inland into the eastern half of the Central Highlands and Coalfields east of Emerald. Some isolated convection possible around the southeast corner too, as a bit of a weak southeasterly weak southeasterly wind change tries to come up the coastline, maybe kicking off some isolated convection there. You'll notice there's quite a bit of convection expected around the Mackay region, through the Townsville district. Again, we're expecting to see showers and thunderstorms, and through the northern Goldfields, upper Flinders, northwest Queensland. Through the nighttime hours, the opportunity certainly for storm activity, but it looks a bit less active overnight tonight. I think most of the storms will either push offshore or decay fairly quickly tonight, exception being northwest Queensland, far northern inland Queensland and the Cape region. I think those storms could go on overnight and into tomorrow morning, but for most of us, I don't expect to see a widespread storm event overnight, early in the morning for the rest of the state. I think most of our storms will be afternoon, evening. And looking at our instability charts, we can clearly see that there's lots of unstable air pushing across much of Queensland's eastern section today. And you can see even a little bit of instability into the southeast corner. So lots of widespread showers and thunderstorms across eastern and northern Queensland. And you can see, there's a good example. See how that instability is decreasing significantly once the sun goes down. And we're looking at things clearing up, unless you're in northwest Queensland or far northern inland Queensland, where the instability continues throughout the night into early tomorrow. Rainfall forecast between now and when we talk again tomorrow morning. We can see significant rainfall across the Gulf country, northwestern parts of Queensland, north of Mount Isa, through the eastern central regions of the state. Now, once again, just be aware these are shower and thunderstorm rainfall, so it won't be quite a blanket-wide coverage of 30 to plus millimetres. There will be falls that will exceed these numbers, but there will also be falls that will be nowhere near these numbers across central east. Sometimes the global models, they just can't pinpoint the exact location of storms, so they give everyone a bit of rain. You can see some isolated showers and thunderstorms out to the Mackay district, through the Townsville district, up through the North Tropical Coast, and potentially through the Tablelands as well. Widespread convection also possible across the Cape York Peninsula region and through the Torres Strait Islands, particularly overnight, early tomorrow morning across the Torres Strait Islands. Obviously, waters are not a great place to be in central and southeast Queensland with northerlies and northwesterlies. Look, southeast Queensland's a little bit tricky today because they do have, as I mentioned, that weak little surface change coming up the coast, and that might help to actually decrease their winds a little bit compared to the rest of the state. Offshore waters in particular, north to northwesterlies tend to mean the offshore waters are pretty ordinary. Inshore waters, you might get away with it. You can see then, as we progress into tomorrow morning, bit of a surface low trying to form around off the coastline of Bundy or Fraser Island, but overall that would likely mean that we're seeing a lot of dry air circulating the state, and a lot of the moisture and the rainfall associated with that system would be offshore. And you can see this beautiful equatorial monsoonal-like air mass coming into the northern parts of Queensland, so they don't care what's going on down here. They're going to continue to pump heaps of moisture up into far north Queensland, those winds coming in from the equatorial regions of the southern and northern hemisphere. Want more details? Head over to join.ozcyclonechasers.com.au. Check out our membership options for way more detail and depth in information. Plus, we're looking further ahead into the monsoonal period, into the potential for low pressure system formation. And we also, just yesterday, released a new model on our weather centre, the ICON model from the German Meteorological Agency. Look at how well it did with regards to its storm potential and probabilities yesterday afternoon. Look at that, beautiful. Picked them all, all within the yellow and orange boundaries. Have a wonderful day. Talk to you tomorrow.